We welcome again those who are watching online today. It's a privilege to welcome Andrea Williams from the Christian Legal Centre, and she's going to introduce some of her clients. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Good morning. It's absolutely brilliant to be with you today. I am on the board of the IFTCC in London, in the United Kingdom. Nigel and Sally, why don't you come and sit here and I'll bring you up in a moment. That's great. Thank you. I am the Chief Executive of Christian Concern and the Christian Legal Centre in the United Kingdom. I am a barrister by profession. I qualified in 1988, and when I studied law and practiced in my early years, if you had told me that I would represent clients who, as a result of living and speaking out their Christian faith in public life, would lose their jobs, I'd have said, you're from another planet. If you would have told me in 1988 that I would represent teachers and doctors who would lose their jobs just for saying or just for believing that marriage is between a man and a woman, and for saying that in the United Kingdom, I would have said, you are from another planet. What has happened, something dawned on me as I ran out this morning from this place in somewhere deep in Hungary, somewhere far away deep in Hungary. And I came to a village. It was very silent, and there was a church. And it made me think this: I'm in a post-communist country. This nation knows what it is to live under a totalitarian regime, where the people are in fear, where there are things that cannot be said. Now, this morning, that village looked quiet. And it looked normal. People were waiting for the little shop to open up. The church was there. Life appears normal, and here it is normal. In Great Britain, life appears normal. The churches are still there. The villages wake up. The city wakes up and it's vibrant. But it's not normal. We're living increasingly under a totalitarian regime, where the culture, where the organs of culture, where the state mechanisms of culture say that unless you comply to the new cultural orthodoxy, unless you comply to the new normal, the way to think, then you will be punished. You cannot act in public life. You cannot speak in public life. Now, this has been a massive social revolution. It is a bloody revolution in that we have over 9 million aborted children in our midst in the United Kingdom since the passing of the Act in 1967. But there's a sense in which the change in our society has occurred because in education, from the moment you go to school, you are taught today that gender is not fixed. You can choose to be male or female. You are told that family can be anything you want it to be, a man and a woman, a man and a man, a woman and a woman. Having children by any new method, because now it is possible to have children by surrogacy, by fertility treatment. Our new Scottish Conservative leader in Scotland, yesterday she had a baby by IVF with her female partner, and the country is celebrating. The country is celebrating. If you do not comply with the new orthodoxy, you are punished. You are labelled bigoted and phobic. This week, my organisation has been told we are a violent organisation. Extra security will be needed for us if we want to host a conference at an Oxford college, because the Oxford students are offended by our views that life is worthy of a protection. They are offended by our view that children do best with a mother and a father. They are offended by our view that marriage is between a man and a woman. So you see, isn't it ironic that we in the United Kingdom have come to Hungary to go underground, To be safe. Now, I know I'm on Facebook Live, and who knows what will happen because I'm on Facebook Live. But the point is this: we are underground. And I'll say to anyone that's watching that doesn't agree, well, we've had to come underground. I've come to a place that knows what it is to be totalitarian and oppressed, and to have a group think and a group speak and to be punished. Well, I want to say to this group of people, to the IFTCC, that you must continue to grow. You must be strong. Where you can function in public life, you must function loud and clear. And where you have to go underground, then we will continue to go underground, and we will have many that will come to us, because there are many people that are aching and hurt and are lost and want to find who they are. They want to be healthy and whole. They want to move away from behaviors that hurt them. They want to know what it is to be at peace with their body, male or female. And that is why this movement must grow, why we must continue to meet, and why we are strong in terms of a global movement. And so I'm excited to be here. And to illustrate this point today, we have from the United Kingdom one of my team, one of my lawyers, but also Nigel and Sally Rowe, who are clients of the Christian Legal Centre. Now, you're going to meet them. They are a teacher and a heating engineer, a lovely, regular couple, ordinary and extraordinary all at the same time. They live in the south of England, and they've come here to Hungary to tell you their story so that you can have a snapshot of what is occurring in the United Kingdom. So Nigel and Sally, come to us. Nigel, tell us a little bit about where you live. First of all, how long have you been married? They're always holding hands. They're always. I couldn't possibly come between them. That wouldn't be possible at all. There we are. So, Nigel.
No, as the husband, I really should know how many years we've been married. So I hope I get this right. 16 years? I got that right. Now, if you ask me what the date is, I've actually forgotten, but I know it was sometime in August, wasn't it? 16 years ago. Yeah, she's very good. I'm so blessed to be married to this lady, and she's been a tower of strength for me. Marriage is a wonderful thing, isn't it? And we rejoice in that in our marriage, and we have two wonderful little boys. I just want to set the scene of where we're from. We're from a place called the Isle of Wight in the south of England. It's a little island. It's a very small population, 100,000, and our children were going to a Christian school, and they're primary school kids. They were at the age of 6 when we started sending them to school. Was it 5 or 6? And I just wanted to set the scene that this is, we're just ordinary couple. We live by the beach. I'm a heating engineer. My wife is a primary school teacher who now actually is homeschooling as a result of the stand that we made. But we are committed Christians, and we have been heavily involved in bringing the gospel message to the school that our children were in. We were doing assemblies. My wife ran something called Open the Book, which is basically teaching the Bible to children. And we were genuinely loved by the community and by the school when we first started.
So that's the picture I get of this couple, really involved in the school, in a local community by the beach on a little island in the south of England, going in regularly to support the school. You've got a mum who's a teacher, so lots to bring to the school. They do community events, so they have these wonderful festivals for the family in their local community. So they're right at the heart of their school and local community. And then, Sally, something happens, doesn't it? You have 2 boys, and something happens with your eldest boy.
Okay, our boys are both 9 and 7 now, but our oldest, when he was 6 years of age, a boy announced to his class that he was now a girl. He changed his name to a girl's name and now wanted to be identified as a girl. So
at the age of 5.
He was 6. Yeah, 6 at the age of 6. So we were in shock when we first heard, because there was no consultation to parents. It was just announced and it happened. And we were aware also that the child had not received any help or counselling or anything. It was just done and accepted. So as a result, we went into school and we just to show our concern and ask questions and find out, what was going on. And it was good because we spoke to the head and we ended up both in tears and chatting about it. At the time, we had some really good relationships with the children, the staff, the parents, and we sought a bit of help, but we weren't sure what to do. And we kind of just left it for a while. But what we saw with our son throughout the year, he was getting more and more distressed and stressed. He didn't want to go to school. He was confused. And he got ill. And when he was ill, it was a relief because he was off school. So it was this kind of situation where we were deeply concerned about our son. So the long and short of that was that we withdrew him to homeschool him. So then we have our second son, our younger son. He was in school by this time and was very happy. And we were obviously involved weekly, going in doing assemblies. So he continued to be in school and he was happy. And we homeschooled our oldest. But then, at the age of 6, a child arrived in his class sometime in that year, and then was starting to identify sometimes as a boy, and sometimes as a girl, as he saw fit. So you can imagine the confusion that caused. And he came home, and it was one night, wasn't he, with Daddy, just at bedtime, said, "Daddy, I'm really confused," which we understood why he was confused. So we went back into school, and there was a new head by this time, and we discussed the thing. And basically she was saying, I have no choice. If I don't just accept this, I could lose my job. So this is the situation that teachers feel at now in the UK, that children can call the shots on this. They can just choose, and they just have to accept this. But obviously it affects other children. I'm aware of other children that were also confused. Some were very distressed, came home very upset. It affected lots of children. And I guess what we want to do, what we thought was these children obviously have a genuine confusion, but to put it in public without any help, without any nurturing, without any compassion, in a private setting, for just to be launched into public when these feelings might even abate, and most do, then this was not fair. So
then over to Nigel. So you took this up quietly with the head, really to just try and work out what could be said to the children and whether and what the policy of the school was. Can I just say quickly that in our country, the law, the Gender Recognition Act of 2004 says that you cannot change sex until you are 18, you have lived out in the opposite gender for 2 years. And at that point, you may then begin to have surgery. So the law is very clear. So when the head teacher says, it's law, I've got no choice, I'll lose my job, that's not really true. But you see, it's policy. The policy to accept a person's acquired gender or the gender that they identify in. And everyone on the ground says it's just policy. So when we currently have a consultation in Parliament, right now in our Parliament, to say that people can just choose to speak out that they are a different sex, and this will be recognised, well, that now follows what's happening in terms of the policy. Do you see? It's soft law before the hard law. The teacher was wrong. But then, Nigel, did lots of other parents come in and support you? You're a Church of England school. Did the church support you? Did other church denominations support you, and what happened? Was there a big throng of people also concerned about what was happening to you?
The answer to that is absolutely not. For me, this probably was the most shocking part. In my naivety, I really thought that the state church would support us, the Church of England. But clearly they won't. They've become very liberal in their values. I mean, I really want to stress something, that Sally and I are not hateful, bigoted, transphobic, whatever the phobic rhetoric is we have in the UK. We are not like that. We really genuinely love all people. And children that are suffering from gender dysphoria, we genuinely love and care for them. We just believe that the way that they're dealing with it in the UK is wrong and unscientific. We've got Quentin here, he's an expert in this field. And clearly the science is saying that to just accept children at the age of 5 or upwards, primary school, and just say, we're going to endorse this ideology that you can be whatever sex you like to be. I think in the UK it's 71 sexes, something like 71 genders. 71 genders. Get your head around that. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, the community didn't support us, very few. People are scared to make a stand. As far as I'm aware, I can only recall one teacher who would have supported us at the school, but I'm not going to say who that is. And the parents, no support. Everybody was against us. And let's just remember that we live in a small community. So the fact that we did this because we made a stand because we really felt for all parents throughout the UK, because this is going on in other schools, isn't it, Andrea? And there are other Christian parents and teachers that are being persecuted just for standing up for what they believe is right, and that's what we're doing. And all we want to do is bring a discussion to government, but it seems there's a political agenda, this transgender ideology that is being pushed, and we are being forced to accept that. In fact, in the UK, it's getting to the point where the state want to enforce this to parents, so that if we don't teach our children the LGBTQ, I don't know how many letters there are after that, but if we don't teach our children that, then we're the ones that are in the wrong, that we're evil, that we are bigoted, and that is simply not the case. We are here to bring. We're basically here to be a witness of Christians, and to the fact that we recognise the goodness of family, and what God has intended that family to be. Mother, father, and the children. That's the best environment. That's what we believe.
Thank you. Do you want to take your seat? We're out of time, but just to comment on that furthermore, the Archbishop of Canterbury said, in commenting on their case, children should be able to use the dressing up box and dress as girls if they want. Boys should be able to dress as girls, really trivialising what was going on here. And the Chief Education Officer of the Church of England said that it was bigoted and phobic and not pastoral to accept the 6-year-old in the gender that he wanted to be. And the letter from the school says this: the school does not require, number one, any formal medical assessment and reporting when a pupil seeks to be treated as transgender. So no medical assessment. A little boy says, I want to be a little girl, no medical assessment. And you parents, unless you agree, are bigoted, phobic, and cruel. So this is the sort of thing that was actually happening. I won't have time to really run through that letter. It's too dense and complicated, but this was the letter that they got when they came. If I could just go to the second page, I can pick out something quickly. It uses the language of bullying. You're bullying this child. This child, we're seeing now is young children aged 9, aged 10 being put on puberty suppressants, puberty blockers in the United Kingdom. This is a terrible experiment that is going to go very wrong, and our innocent children are going to suffer. And those of us that speak out are being forced underground. But we must be underground, but still vocal and visible for as long as it can be permitted. And remember here, when Hungary was communist, the churches functioned, but it was a state church. You had to do, in essence, what the state says. And the Church of England is doing what the state says, applying the same belief system as what the state actually says. That's how it's permitted to happen. That's why when I look at Hungary and I see now that you've broken free and you have family-friendly policies and life policies, I know I'm excited, because therein lies true freedom. And there are pockets of resistance all across the globe. Thank you, Mike.